When the story of Turkish television in the 2010s is written, one chapter will always shine brighter than most: the arrival of Barış Arduç and Elçin Sangu on screen together. Their names, almost inseparable in the minds of millions of viewers, became synonymous with chemistry, romance, and authenticity. Yet behind the cameras, the journey of their relationship, whether professional, friendly, or whispered by fans as something more, has its own history, rich with turning points, subtle gestures, and a spark that ignited a cultural phenomenon. Before their names were ever joined, both actors carried their own unique stories. Barış Arduç, born in 1987, was a man who lived a life filled with movement and resilience. Spending parts of his childhood in Switzerland and then Turkey, he was a natural athlete who found his way into acting almost by accident. By the early 2010s, he had already been recognized as a rising star, playing secondary roles in series where his charisma drew attention even when his time on screen was brief. Elçin Sangu, born in 1985 in Izmir, came from a background enriched with art and performance. She studied opera at Mersin University Conservatory, and her early interest in music and theater gradually shifted into television and acting. By the time she entered the industry, she brought with her a natural elegance and an expressive face that quickly set her apart. Both had carved respectable careers before destiny, or perhaps careful casting, brought them together. But nothing could have predicted the scale of what was to come. The year was 2015. Turkish television had already produced several hit romantic comedies, but the industry was always hungry for more. Star TV commissioned a new series called Kiralık Aşk, Love for Rent, a story that mixed humor, romance, and the age-old trope of opposites attracting. The producers searched meticulously for the perfect pairing. For the character of Defne Topal, they wanted someone with natural warmth, relatability, and beauty that felt accessible rather than distant. Elçin Sangu's audition immediately stood out. She brought Defne to life with effortless charm. For Ömer Pliksi, they needed someone tall, intense, and charismatic, an actor who could balance the stoicism of a successful businessman with the vulnerability of a man opening himself up to love. Barış Arduç, with his deep gaze and quiet magnetism, fit the description almost too perfectly. The casting decision would change both of their careers forever. When the show premiered on June 19, 2015, nobody expected it to explode into one of the most beloved series of its time. But something extraordinary happened. From the first moment Defne and Ömer shared the screen, audiences felt it. It wasn't just acting, it was chemistry that seemed to leap through the screen. Their eye contact lingered a second longer than usual, their body language danced between distance and closeness, and their dialogue carried a rhythm that felt natural. Social media lit up almost instantly. Fans tweeted, shared clips, and created hashtags. Within weeks, Kiralık Aşk had become a cultural obsession. Viewers weren't just watching a scripted romance, they were convinced they were witnessing the birth of something genuine between the two stars. While the cameras captured the blossoming love story of Defne and Ömer, behind the scenes, a different kind of relationship was forming. Both actors later admitted in interviews that they were initially cautious. A leading romantic series required trust, respect, and cooperation, especially when shooting emotional or intimate scenes. Over time, that trust grew naturally. Crew members observed how they laughed together during breaks, how Barış often listened attentively when Elçin shared her thoughts about a scene, and how she, in return, trusted his instincts when it came to timing and delivery. This professional camaraderie quickly became the foundation of something deeper, a friendship that viewers could sense, even when the cameras weren't rolling. By the time the first season gained momentum, Turkish tabloids were in a frenzy. Paparazzi followed them relentlessly, hunting for any sign that the on-screen romance was spilling into real life. Is the love real between Barış and Elçin? On-screen lovers, off-screen secrets? The nation's favorite couple, just acting, or something more? Neither Barış nor Elçin confirmed anything beyond their professional collaboration. Both gave careful interviews, praising each other's talent and professionalism, but never feeding the rumors directly. And yet, their subtle smiles, their supportive words, and their undeniable chemistry continued to fuel the imagination of millions. What set Barış and Elçin apart was not just the show's script, but the authenticity of their performances together. Fans across Turkey, and soon, around the world, created entire communities online, sharing fan edits, writing fanfiction, and treating them as the ultimate dream couple. From Latin America to the Middle East, from Europe to South Asia, Kiralık Aşk was broadcast internationally, and the Barış-Elçin phenomenon spread like wildfire. Their pairing wasn't just popular, it was iconic. Awards began to roll in, from Best TV Couple honors to individual recognition for their acting. Every public appearance together, whether at a press conference or an award ceremony, was treated like a royal event. The line between fiction and reality blurred more with each passing month. Of this history closes with the undeniable fact, when Barış Arduç and Elçin Sangu first shared the screen, something timeless was created. Whether defined as friendship, professional trust, or a spark of romance whispered about endlessly, their connection became a story bigger than themselves. It was the beginning of a journey that fans still celebrate, a relationship, real or imagined, that carved its place into the history of Turkish entertainment forever. As Kiralık Aşk rolled into its second season, the bond between Barış Arduç and Elçin Sangu had already become a centerpiece of Turkish television culture. The show was no longer just a romantic comedy, it was a cultural movement that carried the faces of its lead actors across continents. But while fans devoured every episode, speculating about whether their favorite couple's romance might be real, what happened behind the curtains painted a much more layered picture of trust, admiration, and whispers of something deeper. By early 2016, Kiralık Aşk had become the talk of households not only in Turkey but in dozens of countries. The Turkish drama industry was already famous for exporting its shows, but the Barış-Elçin pairing was something else altogether. Latin American countries, which had been historically dominated by telenovelas, began to embrace Turkish dramas with equal passion. In places like Chile, Argentina, and Mexico, fans were writing letters to TV channels requesting reruns. What made the series so successful abroad was its universal theme, love, sacrifice, and destiny, but what made it unforgettable was the palpable spark between Barış and Elçin. The chemistry wasn't just good acting, it felt lived. And this is where curiosity began to outweigh everything else. During press tours and interviews, both stars were often asked the same pressing question.